So, hi, my name's Anton. I've decided I'm going to record a few videos about this disorder that I'm experiencing called Cervical Dystonia, also known as Spasmodic Torticollis. And I've been experiencing this for, probably started about 18 months ago, but officially diagnosed about 6 months ago. And if I'm going back, 12 months ago, with how it started, my head was pulling to the side, as you can see now, but not as severely. And I was getting sort of a tremor, like a shake of my head. And I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. I mentioned it to my GP, and she said, "Well, we'll keep an eye on it." But she didn't know what it was initially. And it progressively got worse over a number of months. And it was not until I Googled this specific phrase of head pulling to left shoulder that I found this term torticollis, which means exactly that. And that led me to this other term, spasmodic torticollis, which means that you're getting this movement of your head down towards the shoulder in a spasmodic way. So it's, the muscles are spasming. And it all made sense once I started to Google that. And I took it to my GP, and she confirmed, that's what she thought it was. And eventually I got a referral to a neurologist who gave me a formal diagnosis. So I have this thing called cervical dystonia. And you can see pretty clearly the main symptom I'm experiencing here. I'm not looking to the left, just to look at the camera. That is all I can do. So my actual range of movement with my head, if I move the phone around, my camera around, that's what I look like. And I struggle to get my head past about that point there. So I've really got this very limited range of movement. So this is actually a neurological disorder, meaning it originates in your brain. It's not a problem with the muscles, even though the muscles are contracting. It's a problem with the sensory motor pathways in your brain. So it's considered a movement disorder with a neurological origin. Sort of in the same kind of family of disorders as things like Parkinson's disorder, but not as severe as that. So there's other types of cervical dystonia that people can experience. So some people have it where their head's pulling down to their shoulder, like I do. Some people, their head is just pulling to the side, and other people, their head is pulling back or forwards. And there's different terms for each of those. Latericollis for sideways movement, torticollis down to the shoulder, retrocollis, and antericollis, where your head is pulling back or forwards. So I'm not an expert on any of those things, but I've definitely come to learn a lot about this disorder and what it's like to live with it. And I think that was one of the things that I found hardest to find out about early on, apart from getting a diagnosis at all. It's that you can find articles online which are written from a health professional perspective, but trying to get a sense of what does this feel like to have this disorder, what are the symptoms like, what are the treatments like, what's it like to live with this, where am I going with this, what's my future hold. There was there was not a lot of content that was immediately obvious for me to find this. And in terms of YouTube videos, the content was fairly minimal, with people who were, I suppose, willing to talk about their own experiences. And I think one of the reasons for that is probably because from my own personal experience, it's quite awkward and embarrassing to have this condition and to go into social situations where your head is pulling to the side. It makes you feel incredibly self-conscious. Well, it does for me anyway. So I'm hoping that I can record a few videos to give a bit of a personal perspective on what this disorder is like. So most commonly it's called cervical dystonia these days. Also, some people still use the term spasmodic torticollis. And I guess there's a couple of other things that I might be able to contribute here, is that I do have a background as a health professional. So I've got this personal experience of living with this. But I've also got a background as a registered nurse. So I have a bit of an understanding of the health professional perspective on this as well. So that's it for now, and I hope to see you in some future videos.